Well, now after the pre-recording, I don't know what to say. Joe can say it's a sad episode, a happy episode, or whatever episode of two, whatever's way up.
It's gonna be a whatever episode because I'm happy and sad to be here. I'm happy
Yes.
that we have good X-Men. I'm so sad that I had to watch that goddamn shit with my own 2 eyes.
God, shut your whore mouth, Seth. So today, I am your hostess with the X-Men Mostest Hope, and I have my cohorts with me, Seth.
The Pitchmaster General is here and ready to talk on 90s nostalgia.
And is the professional cynic gonna cynic today, Jesse?
uh, Maybe for stuff later on involving later seasons of this show, but for the most part, no. I'm actually very happy today.
Holy shit, the world's freaking iced over and Sentinels have taken over. So today, if you couldn't tell, we're talking about X-Men 97.
Oh
Yes.
boy.
If you haven't heard me in previous podcasts, I've literally been changing my pants every episode just talking about this show because of how amazing it is. And everyone needs to watch it because it's so
Yeah.
good. Marvel fan, X-Men fan, 90s baby, you name it. It's just so big questions for both of you guys. So we nowadays the world is in the MCU realm,
Mm,
you
mm.
know. So everyone has dipped their toes into Marvel, so to say, to some extent, but I want backstories on both of you guys and your X-Men knowledge. Did it start with the comics? Did it start with the original OG 92? Did it start with the movies? Like, tell me.
Yeah, Mr. Cosplay. When did you first get into X-Men? That's a great question.
Oh, it was a cartoon. It was
Yeah.
absolutely the cartoon. And then actually, I remember I was in elementary school. You could have comics delivered to your house, and so I put in an order for my mother to deliver a bunch of X-Men comics, and it was like I think I've still got them. They're back there actually. It was old like 90s X-Force and X-Men and X Factor. It was like really old stuff. Like
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I still got those. They weren't all great. A lot of that 90s stuff questionable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the age of Liefeld is a
Right.
questionable era.
As Bob
Um,
Chipman says, the 90s sucked.
they kind of did, but you also got things like Chris Claremont's run, which was really good. So you got good stuff in there
Yes.
as well. So, but yeah, that was where I started out with the X Men. I haven't been consistent with it because the problem with the X Men is that they do tend to reset back to status quo every
Mm.
like couple dozen issues or something like that. Like I
Mhm.
read Grant Morrison's new X-Men run, which is his own thing. Great storyline. I don't care for the reveal of Magneto. That was stupid. it's he turns out he was in disguise as a guy named Zorn who has a black hole in his brain, but it was just Magneto the whole time.
Hell yeah.
Forget it, ignore it. And then you get to John Hickman's run, which was most recent. His run on the X-Men, which was like it started out with a miniseries called House of X and Power of X, where they're completely disconnected from the real world.
Yeah.
They've moved to an island called Krakoa, which is a living island
Mhm.
in the middle of the ocean, and they're all the mutants can live there. And it also writes out the way in which characters die is that they can just regenerate on the planet in these little birthing pods. So the X-Men
Mm.
can just die over and over and over and over again, and Professor X will take their consciousness from their dead body and transfer it to the new clone body, and they just get right back up.
Damn.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's an interesting story. It's not completely successful. The ending kind of sucks, but yeah, it's good
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
That run brought a lot of people back to X-Men recently too. I
it
think
felt like a fresh start.
honestly, I
Yeah.
don't know if X-Men 97 gets the reception it did without that one, just bringing people back to like think about the X-Men for a minute. Because
Yeah,
after those movies kind of tanked out, a lot of people stopped caring. I don't know if that was everyone else's experience, but I really noticed, especially when we got into the like X-Men Origins era, everyone stopped giving a fuck about the X-Men. So it's kind of good to be back, baby.
yeah.
Yeah, it's so Seth, we got Jesse's little background. What about you? Is it the same with the TV show back in the day, or like what was your
I
jump
can't
in?
even claim the TV show. I can claim the merch that was spawned by the TV show.
Oh, yeah.
Fair,
My
Yeah.
because it
my
was cool
earliest
as shit.
my
Who didn't
early
have an X-Men t-shirt? Come on. Who didn't
right,
have one?
exactly. My earliest recollection of the X-Men is a Wolverine car toy. Like Wolverine's upper half was sticking out of like a little yellow car. I guess they did these for like Happy Meals for kids in
Oh
the
shit,
80s.
I
Oh, yeah,
think
they
I
did.
know what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
I
Yeah.
think that was Burger King, I think. It was
That
doing those.
that sounds accurate.
Yeah.
That toy was my introduction to Wolverine, and of course, he was X-Man because no one could tell me otherwise. It said X-Men on the thing, so he must be X-Man. So I spent my entire
Right.
childhood thinking Wolverine's name was X-Man. Come to find out, there is a character called X-Man, and he's
Yeah.
an Omega level mutant, and he's related to the Summers because, of course, he is.
Of course he
Yes.
is.
Yeah, that was my introduction through that toy, and then I used to get the encyclopedias from the library. We weren't allowed to read comics
Ooh.
because they were really sexual, especially in the 90s, especially the X-Men. Holy shit, I've got some covers on my wall right now where I'm like,
Well, they're
are
all
they
like
allowed to?
Talk
they're
about
all
Emma Frost.
yeah, well, they're all like fucking each other all the time. Like
Yeah,
yeah.
this is a very horny series. We're gonna get into that in a minute, but yeah, I got in through like looking in from the outside, the kid on the outside of the toy window, looking in and going like, "Let me in and read these comics," but I'm not allowed.
Mm.
Oh, that's so sad. Oh
How
man,
about
so
you?
I
What was your jump in, Hope?
it was definitely the X-Men animated series. That was my
Hmm.
jump in. I
Man,
was
Fox. Thank you, Fox, for those
yes,
early
no,
days.
early
Yeah.
90s Fox was beautiful. I loved it. It was the first to bring around anime, it was the first to bring around X-Men, it was the first to bring it was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spider-Man as well. The Spider-Man TV show was
Oh
crossed
my
over.
God, dude.
Mhm.
Oh, we got resolution to the end of that
Oh my
series.
god,
Look
they
at that.
they ended it. Holy shit. Wow. That took like
X-Men,
what? That took 25 years. Jesus Christ.
right?
Damn.
But the animated show was definitely my jumping point. I was obsessed with it.
There.
Like I my mom was just like couldn't keep up with my want of it. I was like trying to record episodes. Like we were like we didn't let me tell you how poor we were. Okay. We didn't have like a VCR recorder and we had the bunny ears growing up.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
like I had to do freaking acrobatics and yoga and contort myself to get like a decent screen to watch any TV show. So I'm like sitting there with my rabbit ears like in funky positions like trying to get just one little thing
Mm.
of like a glimpse of the X-Men like every Saturday morning. And like I think I feel bad for my parents because I probably cost them so many fees at Blockbuster from running the tapes out from Blockbuster because I would just like rent the shows over and over again, and it was like I legit think I ruined some VHSs back in
Oh
the
my
day
God.
because I just like could not get enough of it. Um and then when I found the comics, my mom's like, "Here, you can't fuck these up." So she gave me the comics. Um
I'll find a way, Mom. I'll find a way.
well no, I was very respectful of like books and stuff. So she's
Mm.
like, okay, she's not gonna mess this up. This is like paper. She's good with that. So I was like, okay, oh, sacred texts. This is like my Bible.
Right.
Uh, you know, but yeah, and then my love just grew from there with the movies. I kept reading more comics. Yeah, even the absurd things like other than Gambit, my most favorite X-Men character is off the wall. Not too many people even know him. It's Dupe.
Oh yeah. The
Dude.
little squat alien thing that only Wolverine can talk to.
And Kitty and Shadowcat.
Oh yeah, Kitty. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nightcrawler. I'm a big Nightcrawler fan. He's my favorite X-Men.
Yeah. I was always a Colossus person. I always like
Oh, good
Colossus.
choice.
I always like Colossus. His relationship, his like big brother relationship with Kitty Pryde is always kind of cute. So.
Yeah, yeah.
I was about to say it's very on brand for you, Jesse. You like big, strong guy.
Yeah. Like if Reacher was an X-Man. There you go.
Alan Richardson as Colossus. I'd watch the fuck out of that.
Yeah. Well, the guy
Also,
they got as Colossus right now. He's pretty big too.
that's true. That's
So,
true.
Mm-hmm.
I also hot take. Colossus is one of the best leaders of the X-Men that we've had in the comics. I think Colossus, anytime he's a leader on the X-Men, is like one of the best ones.
No, I agree because he grew up in like war-torn Russia, so he knows
communist Russia. Yeah.
yeah, so he knows the difference between like dictatorship and an actual team. He
Right.
has a little sister, so he can be very protective. He's not like driven by his dick, so he can think clearly,
Yeah.
you know.
Exactly.
So yeah, I totally dig that.
Yeah. The difference between serving the people and serving the state. There's two different things.
Yeah. He is for the people for sure.
Yes.
All right, so one other question for both of you.
What?
Now, did you prep by doing recaps or watching key episodes of the original X-Men animation before jumping into 97, or did you just like go into 97, you didn't want to wait anymore?
I mean, I binged it all in one day, so I just went right in.
Well, I meant like, did you prep watching X-Men 92 for 97? I know you binged 97 in a day, but
Yeah. I mean, I think I watched a couple episodes from season 2. I think the biggest issue for that show now is that some of that animation is not
Cheap.
good.
Cheap.
Very cheap.
very cheap.
Very cheap. Man, where'd all that money go? Probably the voice actors, which rightfully so. The voice acting is great in the original series. But yeah, I tried to watch a few of them. I think I watched. What the hell did I stop at? It was right when Mr. Sinister shows up. And
Okay, that's around season 2.
yeah, Magneto and Xavier go to the Savage Lands.
Savage
They
Lands,
get
yeah,
stuck
that's like
there.
season 2, yeah.
That's season 2. That's kind of where I was like, all right, I think I've had enough. It's like I'll just
Yeah.
watch the last episode. So the season 5, the animation finally got good because they said, oh, we've got some money now. Let's put a little more money into the animation. So it actually looked a little more crisp and clean. They weren't recycling animations. It looked a lot better. So
It looked better, but some of the plot lines, I think, of season 5 were a bit off.
yeah, it felt like they were just trying to just end the show and wrap it up.
Yeah,
So
that's the only bad thing. It's like, hey, we got the money, now we're ending.
yeah,
Okay.
Xavier's gonna go off to be with the Shar Empire. Why? It just why?
I also love how in 97 they wrapped that up so lickety fucking split. They're like,
Oh,
yeah, this
so
is
quick.
a bad decision. Let's get him back to Earth real quick.
This was a huge mistake. Jesus.
Yeah, it's crazy watching this series pre and post streaming. And specifically, I want to highlight pre and post forced commercial watching.
Oh my God.
Mm.
It's so crazy to like relay a time to our listeners who many of them are younger in our 24 and under grouping. There was a time when you were forced not only to watch the commercials, but the people making the stuff you liked had to figure the commercials into their edit.
Yeah. It's
Mhm.
brutal.
Well, I was gonna say, Seth, technically we're back in the forced commercial era unless you pay out the
Oh.
asshole.
But
But
check
what-
this out.
but
It's
you're-
worse now
Yeah.
because the commercials being jammed into something in the middle of a sequence, right? Like the commercial
Yeah.
pops up at like predestined destinations. So you'll be in the middle of dialogue versus back then they had to go, no, we have to take a break at 5 minutes. So we're going to make this make sense
Yep.
into
Yeah.
a commercial. We're gonna pause for a second in the content so that we can have a chance to like reset for the commercial. So it's like worse now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
YouTube is notorious for that. If you pay a little extra money, you get the ads to go away. That's why I pay extra money for no ads on YouTube. That I'm willing to pay that money, but for something like Amazon or something like that, no.
Yeah.
And now gaming, they're trying to put commercials into gaming. That whole thing with EA, they're like, yeah, we want to put commercials into our video games. So anytime you pause the game, a commercial will pop up. I can't wait to be in the middle of playing like I don't know, the next iteration of a Dark Souls game, and then just I try to pause the game, or I'm in the middle of a big boss fight, and then all of a sudden, Whopper, Junior, Whopper, that just pops up. I'm like, Fuck
Oh,
off.
no.
I feel like it's going to be worse than that. I feel like it's going to be Uncharted 5 and Nathan Drake has to drink like Mountain Dew Baja Blast to get the shield that he needs to function for the final boss. That's what it's going to be. It's
You know,
going to be
so
Fortnite's absolutely gonna corner this market. You know it.
you know how in Super Smash Brothers, like if you did the one thing, they would like do like their signature thing. It was like show me
Oh
your
yeah, your
moves,
taunt.
or
Your taunt.
yeah, your
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
taunt.
yeah.
And young Lynx was always like flick the hair, drink the milk.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I feel like that's gonna be everyone's thing, like flick the hair and then like drink your Coke, or
Right.
flick the hair, drink your like Palm Wonderful, like
Oh god. There's
Here's this Unreal Engine 5 sequence that's rendered to real life quality so that we can show you a sprite.
yeah.
yeah. There's a really good Bill Hicks joke that I love a lot. And it's basically about the future of advertising, like the future of commercials. Here it is. Here it is. So it's close up on a woman's face. Okay. Then it zooms out. Bare naked breasts. Zooms out a little bit more. She's totally naked, sitting on a chair, legs spread apart, 2 fingers right here, and at the top it just says drink Coke.
I mean,
I don't really know how these two things are meant to coordinate with each other, but god damn it, Coke's on my shopping list.
right?
Sex sells, baby.
Yeah, it does.
Speaking of sex sells, I own everything Gambit.
They really went all in on him being bi, didn't they? Wow.
Yeah, Gambit kind of broke the internet, didn't he?
Yeah.
People were very angry that man is in shape and wears pink. I think that was what I gathered.
With crop top pink.
Yeah, like just standing in the kitchen wearing a crop top. It's very yeah. Wait, people forget this is meant to be in 1997. This was the fashion of the time.
Right.
So.
Yeah, yeah. There's nothing incorrect about it.
Did you guys see that the voice actor for Gambit at conventions would be dressed as him in that scene?
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
I saw that.
He showed up with his crop top gloriousness.
Hell yeah. I need to start putting the hair up like this and then I'll wear the pink.
He's
tank
the
Love it.
he's,
Love it.
I just realized that if there was ever a crossover between this Gambit and Astarion from Baldur's Gate 3, the internet would explode.
Oh my god, right?
No, like
God.
I personally am a huge Gambit fan. Like I have all the comic series. I have like in pristine condition the first 2 official comics that he was introduced in and the first unofficial comic he was introduced in. Like I have the shirts, I have the merch. I am obsessed with this man. I've always been obsessed with this man. So I'm looking at you out there, world. I cried with you.
Yeah.
I was there with you. I almost took a day off of work with you when episode 5 dropped.
Yeah.
Whew. Not only did they do that to my man, but y'all put him through the ringer before. Like, fuck. Not only do you break the man's heart, but then you break his body too. What the hell? Oh, I'm still recovering, and that was weeks ago.
Right.
Mhm.
Like,
And
fuck.
and all just to bring him back as a villain to hurt us more. Like we are truly
Yeah.
gluttons for punishment, aren't we?
Yeah.
Oh, God. I kind of smirked at the end. I was like, ah, and I was like, oh no. Oh.
That was one of the I have a few slight things that I don't like about the show, which is that one of the big issues with the X-Men is that every character has died so many times that death is kind of irrelevant. So
Yeah, welcome to superheroes, Jesse. I don't.
Yes,
would you
I
like to
know.
read a comic with me.
Yes, I'm aware of that, but the point is, if you're gonna go in and do that, be like, yes, we're killing him.
Mm.
Couldn't
They-
we at one point just say, hey, it's permanent this time?
I don't know. They made it pretty permanent with fucking Leech.
Oh yeah, well, it's true. I mean, that whole city got wiped out. Jesus
Right.
Christ, they
No, but-
Nagasaki that thing, dude.
But
Jesus.
when they have Magneto in his native tongue say, "Please don't be
Oh,
afraid." And then you see Leech and him vaporize, and later on he says his eyes vaporized through his skull and he had to hold on to the disintegrating body.
yeah.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, that gutted me, dude. That fucking gutted me. And like Leech is everyone's favorite. I don't care who you are. Like you see Leech and you're like, protect that baby at all costs.
Mm.
Like fucking defend Leech. And then X-Men 97 really knew how to go from one extreme of happiness to making you think about ending your fucking life in
Dude,
the same episode.
like to get a beautiful little Nathan's family reunion or Summer's family reunion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, that like I love those little moments, and then they're always followed up with like, "Oh yeah, by the way, you like this person, right?"
Mm, yeah.
The Game of Thrones that shit.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, you can follow that kind of chain of writing back to like Joss Whedon, now disgraced Joss Whedon. That was always his thing. It's like, oh, you like this character. It'd be a shame if something happened to them. It's like there was that with the Buffy series and
Mhm.
Firefly, and then you follow that further back.
Mm.
There's writers that have done it, like Stephen King has done that a lot. A writer like Derek Robinson, who's written a lot of military fiction, like he would do that a lot. Like characters would be introduced on one page, you think, oh, it's gonna be around for a long time. Next page, they're dead right away, just
That's-
blown out of the sky. It's like
I have
it's that. Yeah,
I have a bad joke. Speaking of Firefly,
go for it. It's
Uh,
kicking it into the grave. Go on.
how do reavers clean their ships?
How?
They run it through the wash.
God damn it.
Wow. Wow.
Had to do it, folks.
Yeah.
We really like hurting ourselves.
Serenity.
Speaking of hurting ourselves,
Mm.
let's talk about Rogue and
Oh
how
my god.
Jesus
amazing-
Christ.
and how amazing. Holy shit. Like when I saw that episode, it was like episode 6 where she stormed the base and just like murked people. She was killing people left and right. She went up to Captain America. She's like, "Oh, you see this toy? Fuck your toy.
Yeah.
Oh, you see this guy? Fuck that guy." Like I'm like, this is what we all wanted. We wanted some catharsis in our lives, and she
Yeah.
gave it to us.
Well, because we've had an entire cinematic universe of, no offense to the actress, milk toast Rogue. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah, Anna Paquin was not great.
Uh,
Let's be honest with it right now.
not her fault. Not she was
It's
cast.
not. It was
Not
how
her
it was
fault.
written. It was how it was
Yeah,
written.
she was cast into it and written incorrectly.
Yeah.
Because she could have done it. She could have done the badass Rogue
Yeah.
that we all know and love. So it's so cathartic to see her like not only come back but to remind us, oh, that's why we were a little disappointed with X-Men 1 and 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Well, X-Men
Yeah.
well, that X-Men universe, because they couldn't get the rights to Captain Marvel, they couldn't get to the traditional Rogue that we know from the comics at the time
Yeah.
and also from the cartoon show. So they couldn't get to it. So they're stuck with, you can pull people's powers, but you don't really do anything with them.
My argument for that is Sam Raimi said, you know what? I'll just give the man web slingers in his wrists. They could have just made her have those powers. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
could have just given her those powers and it would have been good.
Yeah. Have you seen the twisted version of that? The twisted Darkhold version of him, the actual natural web slingers?
Oh yeah.
Oh, is that
He's-
the one where he shoots his nervous system out of
His veins shoot out.
Ugh.
Oh, it's so fucked up. It's
A
so fucked
phlebotomist
up.
Wet dream.
Yeah. It really hurts, but I have to do it. You just see like his whole central nervous system just shoot out of his fucking wrist. So fucked up.
Gross.
God
How
damn
does he
it.
operate his body then? Never mind.
Fuck,
It's
doesn't
ragdoll
matter.
as he goes
Doesn't
through.
matter.
How did you guys feel about Rogue and Magneto?
I didn't see that
Fuck
one coming.
Bitch. Fuck that bitch. she Gambit
I mean,
deserves better.
I'm
Gambit
not
deserves
gonna.
better.
I'm not gonna like. It's literally the only person she's ever been able to physically touch. Options were limited. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say that it was necessarily she couldn't have pulled him aside and be like, "Hey, look, I can actually touch him." I'm not gonna
Look,
say
there's an easy fix.
what?
Gambit puts a condom on. She wears assless chaps. And they fuck.
Solving problems out here.
Yeah,
they could use
fair.
the condom suits from Naked Gun.
There you go.
Jesus
That's how
Christ.
Rome
And like,
does it.
and the thing is, like, I get that she can't like physically like skin to skin, but at least she can touch through clothes she's physically holding. Like like it's
It's fair. It's
there's
fair.
ways around it. And
It's fair.
as Gambit said, there's things deeper than skin, Cher.
Very true.
Very true.
Do we have a favorite episode from this 10 episode lineup? Like what's your standout?
Other than 5?
Yeah, 5 really kind of just shocks you. Jesus Christ.
Well, and all the subplot points of 5 too, like you see full story arcs even with like characters in the background,
Yeah.
Um like they did a lot of attention to detail with all of that. But if we're going to omit 5 because that is like peak,
Yeah.
um I would have to say 9.
Mm.
Is it specifically for the moment when Magneto says to Xavier, "I've been waiting 20 years to finally say this to you.
No,
Shut
no,
up."
honestly, so 8, 9, and 10 was the 3 arc season finale,
Yeah.
and it legit kind of played out like Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And so 9 was, the the Empire Strikes Back,
Right.
and so it was going up and ends on a down note. And I love that, like, depressive. It got dark, it got deep, it got, they pit X-Men versus X-Men. They fucking ripped adamantium out of Wolverine,
I didn't think they were gonna do
They
that.
did that shit. They
God
did
damn,
that.
dude.
Like, so I love that because it pushed the envelope for me, and I loved that.
Yeah.
It's funny, in that episode specifically, I was trying to call what was going to happen as it was happening, and when they specifically got to the line, Xavier, I've been waiting a long time to say this to you. I thought he was going to say, "Shut the fuck up." I thought they were going to drop an F-bomb,
Oh, that
and
would have been great.
when they didn't, and I still think they should have, but when they
Yeah.
didn't, I was like, "Oh no, they're gonna half-ass this." I bet he's just gonna take Wolverine out by using magnetism against him.
Or
He's
he'll
not
chuck
gonna
him
rip
into space or something.
Yeah. I was like, they're just gonna
Mhm.
throw him out of the ship. They're really gonna, and then he yanks the adamantium out, and I was like, are they allowed to do that?
It's in the comics. It's
Yeah, it's in
literally
the
in the
comics.
comics.
But
Yeah.
this is the sequel to a children's show.
Yeah. But
Alright,
that's why it's on Disney Plus. Like you can
Mm.
get away with this stuff now.
You can.
Seth, your episode.
I think I got to back up to was it Life Death Part 2 or Bright Eyes, where we got to finally see Wolverine in action, like unleashed Wolverine.
Oh, when he's like tumbling through the sky, just murking sentinels
Oh,
left and right.
Yeah.
As a kid, I always like understood that they didn't utilize Wolverine to his potential,
Mhm.
and I knew it was because it was in a kid show. And then as we got the more adult movies growing up, I was like, fuck yeah, it would be good to see this in like the old yellow spandex, and
Yes.
to get gifted that. I was like, and it's our short king Wolverine too. This is not our lanky
Yes.
ass Hugh Jackman shifting a character away from what he should be. This man is supposed to be angry and small and frightening, right? Like we got it.
So
Boys, we got it.
that makes me think of also when you talked about the adamantium. There's this meme out there where it's like, "Hey Cyclops, should Wolverine be on the blue team?" And he's just in the back
Oh,
of his
yeah.
mind of seeing like him kiss Jean. He's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. He's great with Magneto. It's fine."
Yeah.
Yes, he's on the blue team.
Oh, can we address the weird sexual tension between Jean Grey and Wolverine that's happened in the show? Like they clearly hooked up at one point, and Wolverine wants to just like, nope, it was a one thing. We're not discussing it.
There's a lot of cleanup for the Bryan Singer era being done in the
Oh
show.
God, they
There's a
push as
lot of cleanup.
hard away from that as they can.
Mhm.
Well, like we mentioned Magneto and Rogue earlier, that was very implicitly an impossible relationship in this Bryan Singer era, in the
Mhm.
way that he like displaced their ages. They even call attention to like undo the line from the Singer era to be like, what were you expecting? Black leather?
Yeah, they
Right,
completely flipped
yeah.
that one.
Right. They really I see them going back and going like, yeah, these were mistakes. These were like to your point here, Jesse. I think having Wolverine be that is so his personality too. To be like, why the fuck would I want to talk about my feelings? And
Mhm.
Yeah.
all the X-Men movies are like, make Hugh Jackman talk about Wolverine's feelings because he can emote well, and it's like, hire a guy that is like so stiff and inside of himself that he's not going to give you anything. It matches Wolverine better.
Yeah.
Jared Kiso.
Jared
That's my
Kiso.
pick is Jared
I mean,
Kiso.
that's been a thing for a long time. People want him to play Wolverine. Is Jared Kiso just doing Shorzy now? Is that all he's doing at this moment?
I don't
I would.
know.
I mean, doesn't he write, direct, and star in that? I wouldn't say that's all. That is all he's doing.
Well, yeah,
This
I
is
know.
five
But I was wondering if he
jobs.
was doing any other thing, but
Oof, I
yeah,
can't imagine doing more than that.
yeah. But
Can
I remember
I
seeing a.
draw
No, go ahead. Go
uh
ahead.
no, I just wanted to draw attention to one of my favorite it wasn't my favorite episode, but one of my favorite lines in the show. It was yeah, it was episode 2, and Jean, as we eventually learn, is clone Jean.
Yeah.
um, but Madeline Pryor, so she's like, "Oh, he's coming!" And Wolverine, because it's Wolverine related. Wolverine comes in. He's like, "Who's coming? Apocalypse?" And she's like, "No, the fucking baby!"
Oh yeah. He's
And
so
then like,
confused.
and he was like so prepared to take on Apocalypse, but a baby made him like shitless. So
Oh
he
yeah,
was just like, "Oh fuck, a baby!"
that
Like,
is correct. That's why he was so like unapt to team up with Daphne and Logan too. Like I love Logan's probably the closest we've gotten to his character because it made him angry, sad, and quiet.
yeah.
Yeah. There's like Logan around kids. Like this is a baby. I don't know. Take this thing away from me. I don't know what to do with it.
I want to
Yeah.
protect the world for these creatures. I don't want to have to interact with them.
Yeah. Weirdly though,
Exactly.
there was a run of X-Men. I think it was called Wolverine and the X-Men by Jason Aaron. It didn't last very long, where he became the head of the school.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
on Nickelodeon.
Yeah. It was based on Jason Aaron's comic book run,
Right.
where
The show they did was on
was
Nickelodeon.
inspired. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was an interesting idea because it shows that he and Cyclops are totally the opposites. Like
Mhm.
Cyclops is
He
like,
teams up with Emma Frost through it all, so he wasn't like quite alone, but
yeah, but it shows that Wolverine is actually the optimist of the group, whereas Cyclops is the pissed off liberal that thinks violence is the answer to the problem. He teams up with Magneto a lot.
Yeah.
are we talking
Yeah.
about you, Jesse?
Yes, me. But yeah, there was that what was that run? Avengers versus X-Men, where he teams up with Magneto, that messy continuity cleanup book that nobody liked.
It's hanging up on my wall right now.
Yeah, it was just continuity cleanup. That's all it was. And then you get to the end of that storyline where Cyclops has been in prison, and he just says, "Yeah, I'd do it all again." It's like, wow, you didn't learn a goddamn thing.
Nope.
Nope. No, then but Wolverine takes responsibility for his problems. Yeah,
Mhm.
so he's the optimist of the group. It's from a distance, most people see them as, like Cyclops is the good, upstanding leader. It's like, no.
Well, you also have to think too, like Wolverine's been alive how long? He's been through literal war, not
Oh
just like
yeah.
not just mutant war, but like world war.
Yeah.
And so he's seen the good, the bad, the ugly. He's seen
Yeah.
everything. So when he's come out of like 20 different wars and he's seen at least some form of evolutionary change in like being good to an extent, Yeah, you would tend to be an optimist when you've literally been eyewitness to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas
Your
Scott's like, "I'm a '90s baby abandoned by my daddy." Ugh.
your petty anger about this current situation doesn't really mean anything because I guarantee 30 years from now it's not going to mean shit. So,
True.
yeah. But my personal favorite it's not even a full episode. It's the one like half and half and half episode. It's the Motendo episode where Mojo shows up.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
The reference to the old arcade game. That
Mhm.
was great. Jubilee finally turns 18 and they give her own episode. I was like, "Oh, this is cute. This is fun."
I liked that, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like the deepest. I mean, it's definitely not the best episode of the season, but it's the one I had the most fun with because it's the most
No,
inside jokes.
well, not only that, but it shows her future self, and you actually
Mm.
see her utilize some of the powers she saw her older self in the last episode. Like,
Mhm.
she learned from it.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
got badass. Like, she
Yeah,
wasn't just doing sparklers, she was causing fucking damage.
I like how they actually made her a relevant part of the team because that old '90s '92 run, it's she doesn't do a lot. I mean, she's kind of just there as the entry point for the first season.
Sure.
Then she just kind of hangs out in the mansion because she's part of the team.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say she's useless, but she's just kind of there as the kind of audience POV character because
Yeah.
she's like what? She's like what? 14, 15 in the show or something like
No,
that?
she was, like, 16.
16? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think they're all high school age. I like that it set up
The New
the
Mutants.
the Jubilee Sunspotter Roberto relationship, and then they got to kind of pluck at that at the end of the season too. That's like
Yeah.
that's fresh writing. That's stuff we don't have in these series yet. And so anytime a new series like this drops and they're paying off all this old stuff that we really love, of course it's going to be winners, right? Like that's just
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
1,000. But the real question is, what's it going to be like when they're writing all of the new stuff? When there's no more nostalgia to tap, are you a good enough writer to move this forward? And so I look at those kind of setups as like the little character moments that they're looking at, and that gives me a lot of hope. And then I look at our villain for this season 2, Bastion, and the way they've adapted. This is closer to American anime than it is
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
animated superhero stuff. in the
Animation is so lightning fast.
well, and I don't even just mean in the animation itself. I mean in the ideas and the executions of what they're doing.
Mhm. It's
Bastion
not
is
your
an anime villain where he starts off as one thing and then new stuff is plugged into him and evolves into this totally new
"This
like
isn't
his
even my final form."
exactly
Yeah.
exactly. He's
Literally, they
Xehanort
fight
in-
on the moon. It's not his final form.
right.
By the way, how are they actually on the moon and how are they breathing?
Oh, so that is explained. That asteroid was developed with Shi'ar technology to have like an artificial gravity spectrum. Um,
Was that from the old '92 run? I don't remember that.
mhm.
Okay, I
It was,
totally
so it's
totally
part of
slipped my
like
mind.
Shi'ar tech where and then also like it was revitalized because of Magneto and blah blah blah. So it was like a
Mm,
combination of like Magneto plus Shi'ar because they inhabited it for a while there. So
yeah.
Gotcha, gotcha. I will say it is kind of funny that his I pointed this out to Hope. Bastion's plan to create the humanoid sentinels and using like the nanotech in them. That's literally the ending of Picard season 3.
Oh my god.
It's the same fucking plot. It's the same goddamn motivation for the character. It's the same shit.
Also, I really like that his whole thing is about the evolution of our species, and his final base was on the Galapagos Islands, as if it wasn't like, come on, Charles Xavier, you're the smartest man on Earth, and you're not gonna go, oh yeah, Galapagos, the
Oh,
origin
yeah.
of evolution.
Oh
That's
yeah.
Darwinism.
Look, I know writers that use subtext, and all of them are fucking cowards.
That's right. That's right.
uh-huh. Jesus Christ.
But
That's
hey,
funny.
I love Bo DeMaio. He's done justice to this. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Be great if they didn't fire him.
Did he get fired?
I think he
No,
got. They parted ways.
Oh.
This is the big issue that's going to happen is that we're going to get a really great season 1, probably a decent season 2 because it's based on his outline for the season, and then after that, it's all new stuff. So that's what sucks is
Mm,
that
And he had a 5-season
yeah,
outline.
interesting.
yeah. So this is I'm gonna say this is the first Marvel thing I've watched since Guardians 3 because
Wow. Oh, let me
I
pull up the MCU bucket real quick. Please continue.
Oh
yeah, but so
god.
basically because I've just kind
Dumpster
of I
fire bucket.
because it Guardians 3 for me felt like the perfect place to just walk away and be like, I'm done. I'm done. It feels like an ending. I don't need to know anymore. And I just kind of said, I'm finished. I don't need any more. And so when I see this and it just feels so fresh and it feels like a creative direction, it feels like a writer's vision, a director's intent. It's like, okay, they're letting them do their own thing. Disney and Marvel are not stepping in the way of the creators. And then
Mm.
you hear that they are butting heads the entire time and the original creator walks away. So this was happening in the background just like all the other shit. It's like, why can they not just leave them alone? This
And the
wasn't
thing
a
is,
hugely expensive show either.
and it's reached the tops of Disney. Like this has got more people into Disney Plus than like Star Wars did. Like this is like their top
Yeah.
streaming thing right now. Like
Mm.
beyond everything else, it's in spades. How many people are flocking to Disney? How many people are watching? How many people are getting the merch? How many people are like and you ruin that?
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
90s nostalgia is a very powerful thing.
Yeah.
Especially when like well used. Like this is an instance of it being adapted into stuff that we care about now lends through what we cared about before. And that's a lot more powerful than just the normal MCU. And Mike's going to love that I'm saying this. Just like throwing nostalgia at us just to do it, like Spider-Man No Way Home, where it, like it's just like, "Ah, fuck
Yeah,
you. You love all this
yeah.
shit."
No, but like honestly, the 90s, I there is nostalgia for every decade, every period. I will say our generation, us 90s babies, for some reason, 90s nostalgia, it wasn't even the greatest decade. It really fucking wasn't.
No, it was the
But
80s, but that's tapped out.
for for whatever reason, we cling to 90s nostalgia. Like it again, it wasn't even that good of a decade, but like we just every thing we claw and grip onto. You know, I still have my fucking Burger King, my 90s Burger King Pokemon toys.
Oh my
Like,
god.
I have all the X-Men comics from the 90s. I have like I'm a big proponent of minimalism. Like you could probably put everything in my house into one room. Like
Mm,
I really don't have that much stuff. If you take away all the kitchen stuff, which is 90% of my possessions,
I feel that.
um, take away the kitchen stuff, the other part of it is probably, like, from the fucking 90s, not gonna lie. Like, it's I have so much, like, 90s nostalgia, and,
Mm.
like, it's I guess because that was the last time I felt good? I don't know. Like, I legit that was the last time I was happy, like, really happy.
Last time
So
the world made sense in a way that could make sense.
right, so I was like, "Yes, I'm gonna cling on to that happiness that I once had 25 fucking years ago." Uh, you know?
We were young and we were kids. We didn't know. Iraq War? What's that? We don't know what that is. I want to watch Nickelodeon.
Right.
Let
So,
me go back to my biggest problem being contorting my body with the bunny ears to watch my TV.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy to have something this fresh and new in this era. From what it sounds like, they're slowing off as well for Marvel.
which is
They
Yeah.
good.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They said they had because they blew too much money. I think Disney took the biggest financial hit last year. The
Well,
biggest.
Shocker.
I wanted to pull some numbers together for you guys, so to get
Yes,
an idea
please.
of how Marvel has changed in the last decade. So this is not even going back all the way to the beginning. I'm going to start with Phase 5, or excuse me, Phase 3. So the very end of
Okay.
what is known as the Good Era, right? They cranked out 11 movies in 3 years.
Oh,
So
Jesus, I knew it was a lot, but goddamn.
that's Civil
damn.
War through Far From Home they covered
Okay,
all that distance in 3 years.
It's ridiculous.
that
Check
is a
this out.
lot.
As we enter phase 4 of the multiverse saga, we got 7 films in 1.5 years.
Holy shit.
So that is from like very high gas to all gas no brakes. Now here's where we see the switch. Drop into phase 5, we get 6 films across 2 years. So we've
All shit.
greatly and it's Quantumania, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, the
Well,
Marvels,
that's the
Dead
exception. Is
yeah,
Guardians.
Deadpool and Wolverine, the Brave New World and Thunderbolts. I don't understand how those are separate movies, by the way. I thought that's all the same shit. Anyways,
Yeah.
you can see the gas come way off. Our next phase is 4 movies. It's Armor Wars, a Spider-Man movie, a Shang-Chi movie, and X-Men.
I feel like they deleted something. Did they take stuff out?
There was supposed to be
So
a
Fantastic Four, Blade, Avengers 5, and Secret Wars. That's our like phase 6 official.
Oh, okay.
And then that's the rest of the stuff out from there. So we only have 8 movies or 10 movies, I guess, to finish
there's
up.
supposed to be Ironheart, isn't there?
It's
Ironheart?
a TV show. It's a
Yeah,
TV show.
and like it doesn't list any of the shows. That's just
Okay.
movies. The shows end of it is also pretty crazy looking when you look at the numbers and the amount of content they have to make for each one.
That's the
Uh,
other issue that you just triggered something for me. The fact that we're referring to this stuff as content.
Yeah.
Like, that's a thing that's beginning to piss me off, and that's why I got a little tired of Marvel, because it's like, oh, they're just pumping out more fucking shit.
Yeah.
Well, it's also because you had to watch this movie, you have to watch the show, the TV show, plus 2 other movies, plus get the secret decoder ring from the lunchbox and the fucking,
Yeah.
like it was all this shit. Whereas X-Men 97. Hey, remember that thing you watched 20 something years ago? Yeah, just sit back down, get some cereal like the good old days and enjoy.
Here's the sequel.
That's all you had to do.
Yeah.
And like and what I also love too is, despite them parting ways, Bo DeMaio did like go on and be like, "Hey, I know you probably don't want to watch 5 seasons of X-Men. Here's your homework for the week. Watch these 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Skim this one comic." So like he'd give you like little homeworks throughout the week, but it wasn't like, oh, info dump. It was like, if you want a little bit more background, here's one little like easy
Yeah.
bite-sized thing you can do. Not this whole trek traverse up Mount Everest of content,
And that's the thing that's been leveled at a lot of the people that work in Marvel right now, is writers and directors. They're not fans of the stuff that they're working on.
Right.
Like they're being told, yeah, don't read the comics, just make up your own shit. Like there's multiple interviews with many writers being like, yeah, we were never told to read the comics, just make up our own stuff, follow the through
Right.
line of the movies. And that's where a lot of people are getting pissed off at this point. And I'm at the camp of, yeah, I agree. I'm a little sick of it. I really wish you guys would commit a little more to it. If you're gonna say it's a Captain America movie, maybe make it feel more like Captain America and not James Bond. It's not the same thing.
You mean
Maybe
chucking his fucking shield across 20 football fields because she's pissed off?
yeah, like that's the kind of thing that I would like to see more in these movies. Just the absurdity of it all. This
Mm.
it is ultimately absurd, and I don't need the realism anymore. I'm through that. I'm over it. I got that out of my system with Logan. That's that nail is finally in the coffin. Kick it into the ground. I'm done. I'm allowed to just be like, you know what, Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, there's a giant floating skeleton head in space, and we have built a city in it. Great. It's awesome. That's cool.
All
I
right,
don't need realism.
let's head back to the good X-Men 97. I want to
Yes.
close this out with a question for both of you guys.
Yes.
So obviously there's a million fucking Easter eggs in these shows.
Mhm.
I want you. I want each of you to give me like 1 to 3 Easter eggs that you were just like, fuck yeah, let's go, Seth.
Spider-Man. Did
All
I
right,
take yours,
Jess.
Seth?
No, go ahead, Jesse. You run with it.
Yeah,
Is-
you start,
if
Jesse. So Spider-Man with MJ.
Spider-Man with NJ, yeah, and then Flash is right behind them. That's a good one.
Yep.
Um, Doctor Strange, that was a nice little touch showing up. Has he ever appeared in any cartoon form?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, he was in crossover. There was a couple episodes of like Spider-Man and like what 1 or 2 episodes of X-Men. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And then the Hulk showing up. That was a nice little when Morph transforms into the Hulk, which was always kind of odd to me. I was like, does he actually have all their powers? That's very
Uh
advantageous.
so Morph can have physical attributes of powers. So like Juggernaut, he would have Juggernaut strength because that is Juggernaut's power strength. Same with
Yeah,
Hulk.
yeah,
That's why when they were falling, he turned into Archangel because that is a physical power.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
if he turned into Jean, he can't like be a telepath. But like if like Blob, he could turn into Blob because Blob's is very physical. So
right.
that's Morph's thing is he can get like physicality
Yeah,
powers.
but if Morph turned into Juggernaut, he wouldn't have the unstoppableness. That's like a
Right. He has the
yeah.
strength of it, but he could still
Yeah, he would have the
obviously
strength
as
because of the physical
Okay,
size increase.
yeah.
gotcha,
But
gotcha.
obviously you saw him get like fucking blown through the fucking wall, you know.
Right.
So
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Damn. I'm trying to think. Like, I got real excited for the apocalypse kind of tease finale
Oh yeah.
because we had gotten nods to it. You know, mentioned him as a character earlier, and I loved him in the '90s run as well. The '92
mhm.
show Apocalypse is probably one of my favorite cartoon villains. So I got real excited for that. I love in the comics when the X-Men get turned into the Angels of the Apocalypse.
Yes.
The
I
Four
love
Horsemen.
The
the
Yeah.
Four
horseman, yeah.
Horsemen. That's so
Angel was a
badass.
part of it, yeah,
It's
but yeah.
so badass. And yeah, so to get like a new run or new version of that, because I know they're going to change it up. They're not going to just give us
Mhm.
the comic lineup. They're going to give us something new. So that means there are other X-Men that might get pulled in or introduced. So I'm really hyped for all that. I for as bad as the movie was, I argue that Apocalypse is one of the best things you can do with the X-Men series because he can counter all of them at once. And
Yeah.
that's what you need out of your villain.
Yeah. Well, they go back to a time when he's young and he hasn't quite become Apocalypse
Well,
yet.
there's
So
that in one verse, but yeah,
yeah,
when
yeah.
he's
Well,
still En Sabinor, but
Yeah, this version, the X-Men could cause him to become Apocalypse.
mhm.
yeah. Or they reshape reality and they change the future or something. Who knows?
Bootstrapping themselves, and
Yeah.
suddenly Cable disappears.
Yeah.
Was that your big Easter egg, or is there another one maybe?
Yeah,
Seth?
yeah, that's my big favorite one. I'm not gonna lie, I had to pause to laugh at the black leather
Yeah.
reference.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
only because I found it annoying in the original movie when they when they make reference to like
It
yellow
stands
spandex.
out. Yeah, it
Yeah,
stands out.
like
Yeah.
what do you mean yellow spandex? And it's like, yeah, was I dumb for
Aw.
wanting that? Like it was like the movie was insulting me, which it was because Bryan Singer's an awful human being.
Yeah.
But uh, to get not only the inverse of that, but to get it from that series to be like, you were making fun of us, and actually everyone did want the yellow suit. Go check out Deadpool and Wolverine this year, bitch. And
Right.
I was like,
Yeah.
that's right, that's right. That is the correct way to do that.
Love it. Love it. I would
What
have
about
to
you, Hope? What's your best cameo or favorite cameo?
I think it has to be on the last episode at the end. So when you see Forge in the room and he has that list of characters on the wall.
Oh
So
yeah.
obviously so obviously you have like Jean and Cyclops and Professor Xavier and Magneto, like all the ones we picked out, but like I saw we're gonna get Shadowcat. We're gonna get Colossus. We're gonna get Magic. The fact that that Morph turned into Magic a couple times, love that.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's other Smiter characters that most people don't know about, like Dust. We're getting Dust? Holy shit. You know, so just like the little also, I don't know why, but I have like this weird obsession with Omega Red. Don't know why.
Fair.
And the fact that they like showed him in Russia when like all the nuclear power plants went down, he's like, "Oh yeah." You know, So I'm loving all these like smaller ancillary characters that you normally don't see. I'm loving
Yeah.
that they're putting them front screen.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Oh, and that Omega Red drop has to be a reference to like a episode they have planned
Oh yeah.
for next season.
Or they're gonna
It
reunite. What was the band that Wolverine was with? Was it Alpha Flight? It
Well,
was
there was the Alpha
him.
Flight, and then there's
Dude, do you remember when Nando pitched that on Film Rescue?
What was that?
He was on the X-Men Origins Wolverine episode.
Oh,
and
that's
he
right.
pitched-
We
he was
redid the
like,
whole
"I'm doing
movie
an
because the movie
Alpha Flight
sucked.
movie.
That's
and I was
right.
like, bitch, and he had Omega Red in it too. That was so good.
nice.
That's
Shout
right.
out to Nando V Movies. Check out his YouTube channel.
We kind of had Omega Red in a deleted scene in Deadpool 2, kind of a little bit.
Eh.
It's in the
didn't
prison.
he play him? Didn't he play him? Ryan Reynolds, I mean.
I don't know. Did he? I don't know.
I think Ryan Reynolds played Omega Red for that cameo.
I don't remember.
I don't know, but
Deadpool 2, I have major problems with. Also, I think that version of Cable is not very good.
Oh, Josh
Anywho,
Brolin's Cable.
Yeah, I don't care for it.
I'm excited for minor characters getting some screen time. You know,
Yeah.
as much as I love our classics, like the X-Men universe is so big and vast. Let's shine a light on some of these other characters, man. Let's
hell
do
yeah.
it.
Especially with how the internet like remembers old stories and memes old X-Men stories. It would be really cool to get like some of the memes brought in. Like it's a very
Yeah.
internet culture-y show, I feel like, on the back end.
For
Mhm.
sure. All right. Do we have any final words, gentlemen? Or is
It's really, really good. It's the one thing from Marvel I think has been really solid is their animation department.
when
If
we can get the cynic to be happy, we've done good, folks.
Yeah. I mean, looking forward to Deadpool and Wolverine. You know, we'll see if they include some stuff from this show into that.
it would be
Who
yeah,
knows?
it'd be cool.
Maybe they will.
Marvel Jesus.
He is
Yeah.
Marvel Jesus.
My last question: if all of this is to fold into the MCU, let's imagine this is confirmation that X-Men 97 is in the MCU, and one of these characters will be pulled into the live action Bukkake finale, whatever they do. Which character do you want to see pulled out of 97 into the main MCU?
Mm.
I would have to say, I, fuck, that's a good
Wolverine, but played by
question.
Danny DeVito.
You're just stealing my shit now. You're just stealing my shit.
Honestly, I want to say something that they haven't tapped into yet, like something completely. I would love to see, like maybe. Honestly, let's see some fucking Shiar. You know, like let's
Ooh.
see some Shiar go on, like good
Okay.
Shiar, because there's like they left that. Like I know they had to get Charles away from there, but that's a whole other universe you can tap into. And if they're gonna do the MCU, we've already technically tapped into it a little bit. Why not
It's
bring it
true.
back, man? You
Yeah.
know, they did that whole thing with Ronan where Lady Deathbird, she was just like, "Oh, Ronan, you're a piece of shit," and like crushed his face.
Yeah.
So you know, why not?
Sure. Yeah, let's get it. For me, I'm gonna say Mojo. I feel like that
Fuck
is
Bring back
yes.
Mojo. Yeah.
why not?
Yes.
Why just like yank him over, make him make him aware of the fact that he's changed from 2D to 3D, and it doesn't fuck with him at all because he's an alien that's into entertainment. He'd be like, "Oh hell yeah, I'm in 3D now," and like that's
The
all you got to do to
alien
call attention
version
to
of
it.
Deadpool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That would actually fit because he literally is the alien version of Deadpool. That's
true.
actually fucking brilliant. I love that.
Remember years ago when we thought that was the big thing, that was going to be the big hook of WandaVision, is that it's a Mojo TV show? We all thought that was what the case was.
And wouldn't have that have been a better fucking ending than
Yes, it would have been a better ending than people throwing After Effects balls of light at each other. Jesus, what a lame ass finale.
it was
Anywho.
Agatha almost all the way.
Anywho, despite me loving Catherine Hahn, yes.
Yeah.
X-Men 97 overall, I'd say we all give it a major 2 whatevers. Way the fuck up.
Yes.
Go watch it. It's amazing. it restored some faith in MCU for me or Marvel in general. It yeah, I'd say we're very happy with it. Very, very
Yeah.
happy.
If this is their first promise of taking their foot off the gas and like actually taking their time and giving us thoughtful projects, I'm here for it. I'm here for a reinvigoration of the MCU.
Yeah. Just
Safeties.
please stop making it as just content. Start giving it artistic vision, please. Just
Agreed.
please.
Yes.
I just
Alright.
yeah, I just need to just reel it in just a little bit. So
And on that note, as we end the season, I can't feel you, sugar.
God damn it.
I'm leaving this call right now.
I'm fucking quitting. I quit. I quit.
And that, good night.
Good night.
Good night.